We are recording with Mr. Adam Hardage on Thursday, September 19th, 2024 at 12:12 p.m. Eastern time. And well, I think originally we were going to talk about your time in the CIA, but seeing as how no one can help themselves from, I guess, taking pot shots at Trump, I feel like that's maybe what we should focus on instead. And they're doing it to a degree that's already getting boring. I mean, I think they found explosives near one of his rallies the day after that Ryan Routh guy went after him. So you have quite an extensive background. Could you, while I post the live link, could you introduce yourself to my audience, please?
Sure. Yeah, my name's Adam Hardage. I was a military officer and intelligence officer. Spent about 25 years overall. I was graduated from Air Force Academy in '97 and was active duty Air Force until 9/11. And after that, I crossed over the Army and ultimately went over to the intelligence community and kind of rounded out my government career there. And then after that, government service and went into business and became an entrepreneur on my own. So yes, I've still got some perspective on this, and my experience isn't too old. And so when I look at the events of the past couple of months, I can't draw any other conclusion than to think that these are somehow sponsored events, and not the work of lone gunmen. So that's just kind of where we are. I don't have any inside baseball or information on that. I don't have it's speculation, but based on the very, very extensive number of let's call them incriminating factors or data points, it appears that these were premeditated and planned with more
Yeah.
than one person.
Yeah. Yeah, no, absolutely sponsored. I mean, the question always is who, and yeah, not that you have inside base. I mean, one of the guys I've had on here like a million times, Dale Comstock, Delta Force, CIA ground branch. People text me all the time. They're like, "Ask Dale what he knows about it." I'm like, A, Dale knows nothing. B, if he did, that would be the most classified shit on the planet. He's not
Yeah,
going to tell me, "Oh yeah, by the way, Tom, we're popping the X."
yeah.
But I suppose that's but people here,
Well,
CIA or tier one, and they immediately assume you know.
and well, exactly. And the truth be told, I don't think we'll ever find out
No.
the full nexus of whatever network it is, because in the espionage world, in the clandestine world, um, think of it like an affair with marriage, and if you get caught, or if there's evidence of said affair or whatever else, then you have failed completely at the sheer essence of what clandestine means.
Hmm.
So this, if it was an operation, it appears to, it sure looks like that when you have
Sure.
like things like, encrypted offshore bank accounts, you got explosives found, you've got multiple trips back and forth between location A to potentially government, meeting location. So, I mean, there's just so many things, whether it's Crooks or Routh. And then I don't know if the BlackRock commercial thing is real or if
Yeah.
that's a deep fake, but then the fact that they're both in it, and you see that there's a very clear globalistic agenda 2030, and you'll own nothing and be happy and eat the bugs and all this other. So we've run out of theories at this point, and now we just have conspiracies. And it's funny because in the military we would call it flash to bang, and it's how much time does it take from the when you see something to when you hear it,
Yeah.
and that's like it's like the flash to bang from conspiracy theory to known fact at this point is like 6 days. It
Yeah.
used to be like 6 years.
It used to be
It
decades.
was like
Yeah.
I know it was Alex Jones out there for. My wife said this last night, and it was the truest thing I ever heard. And we have a family member that's visiting who is very much not awake to anything,
Yeah.
and is very much willfully, head in the sand,
Yeah.
doesn't want to know, whatever.
Hey, it's
And so
bliss.
we're kind of laughing about that, and I said, well, it's I mean, I'm sure one of these days, that person's going to wake up and start to see it. She goes, imagine how Alex Jones felt for like the last 25 or 30
Yeah.
years.
Oh
He
yeah.
has, like, how is he not insane yet? And I was
Yeah.
like, you know what? That's totally right. Because Alex Jones was out there for
Yeah.
decades being hair on fire, and I was like, man, I think Alex Jones is out there, man.
Yeah.
Now it's kind of like, Maybe I will buy one of those Alex Jones was right t-shirts.
D- Dude, it's the quote, right? By the time you realize your dad was right, you have a son that thinks you're wrong, right? And
It's
it
so
is
true.
and I'm someone who's like not immune or new to conspiracy. I didn't go to prom in high school. I remember reading CIA Legacy of Ashes by Tim Weiner. I was a normal kid, and like
Yeah.
so I've always been into this stuff just because I enjoy it and I like thinking critically and blah blah blah. And
It's funny. I read Legacy of Ashes and I stopped reading it about, I don't know, maybe a quarter or a third of the way through because I thought, this just isn't right. This guy is wrong. This is I get it. He's cynical and okay, whatever. But I didn't buy it. And that was before.
yeah, yeah. I read it when
And
I was 17, I'll be honest, I don't remember. I'm 34 now. I don't remember a whole lot of it, but I think that's one of the first ones that kind of got me into the whole like, oh, not everything's as it seems.
yeah,
And forever though, it was like decades later, like Gulf of Tonkin or
yeah.
Grassy Knoll or did FDR have forewarning of Pearl Harbor or 30 years prior to that and the Zimmerman telegram and Smedley Butler and it really was seeing an ammo depot go up on the horizon, and it took 3 minutes for the shockwave to hit you. But then it just started getting faster, and COVID was crazy because it was like we saw that in 2 or 3 years. And then standing up Ukraine is like that was like a year to the Trump assassination attempt, the first one, that was hours. That was legitimately hours where you had mainstream news saying, Trump falls amongst
Oh
loud
yeah, the initial reporting was horrendous. Like, oh, there was
intentionally horrendous.
apparent
Apparent shot.
backfiring noise or some kind of a pop. It
It
could have been confetti.
yeah.
I'm sorry,
Yeah.
what?
And it was I mean it seemed like an SNL skit or something. It was
Yeah, it's
you'd
very
have
yeah,
so, you had
very
like
stop
a
movement.
yeah, you had like an interview with a guy who's like, yeah, some people saw someone on a roof and you're like, okay, but I don't know who this guy is, who's
Yeah.
this guy working? And then like 10 minutes later another video came out and it's someone with a video of a woman screaming, there's someone on the roof, and you're like, well, that's still you were taking this woman's word for it. And then like 20 minutes after that, it was like, here's a video of someone crawling on the roof, and you're like, well, and then after that, it was like, no, there's a guy on the roof with a
I
gun, and
don't.
you're like, well, they didn't tell
There's a video of
authorities.
people screaming to
Yeah.
police. He's on the roof. He's
And it
got a
just kept,
gun.
and it's like, well, these are, maybe these people are hysterical. And then the next video is like a sheriff. He's like, well, I saw a guy on the roof, and you're like,
I saw the guy. He turned his gun at
he
me.
turned his gun at me, and then you're like, motherfucker. Like it to the point where the flash to bang is like minutes, what used to be
Yeah.
decades. So all that, and then what you said, just kind of like the 100,000 foot view of, Agenda 2030, the World Economic Forum, or kind of all these things that are in the background, but if it were a legal case, those don't count as evidence. So you'd be like, all right, we know the guy hates his wife, but we don't have any evidence that he killed her. So like,
This isn't the kind of thing that ever sees a court of law.
no, of course
This is
not.
the kind of thing that
Of
is
course
handled
not.
by guys like I used to be, and guys like Dale Comstock used to be,
Yeah.
and that's handled uh,
Off the
with
books,
speed,
off the record.
surprise, and violence of action.
Yeah.
And then the problem is solved, and the world
And no one
continues
really
on.
knows about it.
Yeah, and that's the way that it's supposed to happen. Is the good
Yes.
guys go out and they destroy the enemy. But I remember uh, in Afghanistan, and I was not serving in Afghanistan at the time. I didn't make it over to Afghanistan until 2008 or 11, 2011. I didn't make it over until 2011. But I remember seeing, and I was, still in the service at the time, but like in like '03 or '02, when we started like talking about the pivot to Iraq, and I was like, I don't understand what's happening here because so I was like, I know because I was the chief of communications for Air Force Special Operations Command. So I
All
was in
right.
charge of all communications for special operations on the Air Force side.
Yeah.
And so I was like, I know for a fact, that the back door out of Afghanistan at Tora Bora is being intentionally left wide open. And there are a bunch of Rangers sitting with a bunch of dip in their mouth and a military working dog waiting to go eat. Eat meaning find that enemy and take them out. Instead,
They let him
we
out.
let them walk. And meanwhile, then we pivoted to Iraq. And now all of a sudden it's Iraq weapons of mass destruction, and it's Saddam's responsible for this. And now somehow he's an ISIS guy. And I'm like, whoa, 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 whoa. And a typical American news cycle, oh, we're sold a bill of goods about Saddam. He's the next dictator we're going to take out. We're going to invade his country, destroy it, blah, blah, blah. Why? Perpetual war. And here we are 20 something years later, and we've got a whole lot of dead people on both sides, and a whole lot of wasted resources, and a whole lot of contracts that have been awarded.
Yeah.
So here's to, endless perpetual wars,
Yes.
and not bothering to win anything. Let's just get more guys killed. Like I'd like to, we don't have enough, really mentally messed up people, in America yet. We need to maybe start some more wars.
It almost seems like they're trying to pivot to like a new type of endless war, and it's where we don't send. I mean, you have to respect the enemy in that they know that people are. I mean, Korea, all right, it's like 5 years after World War II. Uncle Sam's still, infallible. All right. Vietnam gets a little more fucky. Grenada, Desert Storm, those are both kind of like propaganda wins. And then 01 to 2021 it's a quagmire. It's a irrefutable, undefendable quagmire, statistically, qualitatively, quantitatively, whatever. It almost seems like we're moving to something like Ukraine or to Israel, to where not to forget the aircraft carrier strike groups going to Israel, but in general, we're not putting American boots on the ground, and it's more of it's just kind of these abstract bills that don't really mean anything to the psyche. 85 billion for Ukraine, and you go, the corrupt Democrats, or the corrupt, but that's out of the news cycle. 2 days later, Kanye West is blaming the Jews, and you're on to the next thing. And then 3 months later, we're sending HIMARS and F-16s and Bradleys to Ukraine, and but there is something about it that, whether we want to admit it or not, by our very actions show that it is more palatable to just do endless wars through other countries and not sending our own soldiers. And I feel like that's what we're pivoting to.
Yeah,
My humble opinion.
yeah. I mean, you're talking about basically hybridized, unconventional warfare type scenario, and we do a lot of that, and that's kind of been the name of the game, is what they call by, with, and through.
Yeah.
So it's they conduct combat operations by the foreign ally. So in this case, maybe it would be you go over to Afghanistan, you're training the Afghan police to take out the Taliban. So the Afghan police would be the allies in theory, So you go, you work, and you train them, and you work by, they do the operations by them, you work with them, and then you accomplish your objective through them. So you enable them, you train them, equip them, employ them, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, I mean, that kind of stuff's been going on for a long time, ever since, the advent of the mercenary, which is probably the third or fourth oldest profession, I'm guessing. And, I don't know what future warfare is going to look like, other than I know it's going to go inside and underground. And what I mean by that is facial recognition technology, drones that can be equipped with, remotely detonated, or I mean, you've seen that in Ukraine.
Yeah.
I mean, that's literally how they're killing thousands and thousands of people every day. I've talked to multiple commanders on the U.S. side who have been involved, we should say, in at least an advisory capacity there. And the way that war is being conducted now is basically by 18-year-old pimple-faced kid with a VR headset piloting a drone from miles away, who finds a person and zips around right after them, and then just drops a grenade right on their head. Now, the next step up from that is facial recognition, which we already have, and then weaponized facial recognition that has lethal AI engagement capability. So in other words, a drone, let's take, there's a couple of that I've seen extensive service that are armed and weaponized, and equipped with facial recognition capability. And when you load whatever you want and put it in the right area, then you can literally have a group of individuals walking down a road together, say 5 or 6 individuals, and one person's head explodes. And everybody wonders what just happened. It's so much like you just saw with the Hezbollah fighters, when their pagers simultaneously exploding across Lebanon. I mean, it's the same kind of thing. And I would imagine that that's the next level of warfare is going to become individualized. So much like a Subway sandwich, you get it the way you want it. So instead of just getting a lot of sandwiches, we can order one very specific sandwich. In other words, we can go after Tommy Carrigan specifically, not the neighborhood that Tommy Carrigan lives in.
Yeah.
That's a very different place to be. And so now you've got these devices, which is the most dangerous device you can ever have in your possession. I am not kidding when I say that.
Yeah, no.
When you feel this thing heating up, it is time to get away from it.
Yeah.
Anyway, so you track people with this because this goes everywhere with them. Nobody's ever more than 3 feet away from their phone. When was the last time you ever did your morning constitutional without one of these? Because I saw a pretty funny meme last week from a guy who said that he forgot this when he went to go have his morning coffee time in private. And he said he was reminded of a world 10 years ago when he actually did go normally and just do that on his own without a phone.
Read the back of a shampoo bottle.
And he thought, wow, this is so strange to be here.
Yeah.
And that's very true. So knowing, I guess where I'm going with that, the kind of tongue-in-cheek joke there is we know that this thing is going to be with the person at all times. So it's the easiest thing to target. So you target this from a locational standpoint, you add in the facial recognition, you use a remotely controlled piloted drone, boop, they're gone. And so the only protection then against that becomes either inside or underground. And so, for example, like right now in Ukraine, you know what the most effective counter drone technology there is?
I'd say a shotgun or a trench.
A shotgun or a net. So if you could put a cargo net up behind you or whatever else, you can catch the blades in it. So it's literally, you got guys running on ATVs.
Yeah.
There's one guy who's driving a drone and trying to kill somebody. And the guy on the back has a shotgun.
Yeah.
And he's trying to shoot down the drones that are chasing them, trying to kill them. That is the essence of the war that is happening right now. And by conservative estimates, you are looking at 600,000 plus dead Ukrainian men to date.
And it's, I mean, I'm sure you see.
For what?
Oh, yeah, exactly. For what?
Yeah, for what?
It's nothing. And then you see these videos of dudes who are half my age and they're making the sign of the cross and they're begging.
I know.
See the drone go and hit him and people are going, that's yeah. And it's like, dude.
Yeah, it's barbaric, man. Warfare's really bad. It's always been really bad. And I know that is a very silly sounding understatement.
No, but
but most people have not actually ever seen it or experienced it, and it is a very different thing when you see something on a phone or on a TV or on a news report versus when you live it or when it happens to you. We're in a very, very dangerous time, I believe, for this country and for the future of the world as it exists, for freedom in general. I believe that everything we're seeing right now is biblical in nature.
Oh yeah.
So I do think we have a situation where it's literally tyranny versus freedom, good versus evil. And obviously I'm on the side of God and good. And I just, here we are. That's
well, it's like that photographer. I think it was Vietnam, might have been Desert Storm. He takes a picture of the kid who was, burned alive and like melted to his school desk. And he said, I took this so people like my mom don't think war is what they see on TV. And I don't remember if it was Nam but it's the same thing. It's when you see it firsthand and I haven't, but I've interviewed who knows how many hundreds of different military guys, and
Yeah.
Even drone operator. I mean, early on, Reaper operators, Predator operators, and and they would talk about how you're starting to get distanced. And on
Yeah.
one hand, there's a guy I had on, Professor Samuel Moyne years ago, wrote a book called Humane. It was actually very interesting, and it was like it's like as war moves from less, indirect, hey, 1,000 B-17s go hit Dresden, to more laser guided JDAM through the window. It's on one hand, you can argue it's getting more humane. Okay. It's all bad, but again,
Mhm.
you know, it's also like grow up. The world is a bad place. Okay.
There's a lot of truth to that, right?
Yes.
Right. We just killed this one guy. We didn't kill everybody on the bus.
But by it becoming more humane, do you then start to go, it's not as bad, go for it. It's not as humane. The kids are playing touch football. They're not, tackling each other on pavement. And does it, and his whole argument is, and he leaves it open ended. He goes like, is it more or less humane? By making it more humane, do you allow more of it, which is less humane, or do you have like, your Air Force Curtis LeMay, war, you should use extensive power, overwhelming power, too much power, because
Yeah.
it will save lives on both sides. So it comes down to like, all right, drones and people. Okay, well, what about the people piloting? What do they get PTSD? Well, give it AI. Give it AI, facial recognition. You could have like a 2 or 3 point authorization. That's Tommy's face. That's his gait. That's his fluorescent white Irish skin.
And
Blow him
he's
up.
got his phone
He's
with
got his
him.
phone. Am I an asshole? Do I put my phone on a homeless guy one day and go, let's see what happens to him? And he blows up, and I go, oh, they were watching me. At the same time, by allowing it to become more humane, you then become more permissive. You go, well, we only blew up one guy. That's, is that as bad? Versus, well, we dropped 10 daisy cutters in that field and wiped out 2 villages, but we got the 2 Viet Cong. So it comes
Right.
down to, I think, it again, I have a biology degree, no military experience. In my educated guess, I would say by making it more personalized and humane, paired with, we're not putting American boots on the ground, you actually have an American populace more willing to just say, yeah, go for it, because it's personalized. And even the guys that do have to pilot it be like, yeah, they're Ukrainian or they're Israeli or they're Taiwanese. And it's by
Well,
becoming more humane,
the
we are
truth,
allowing more of it. Yeah.
yeah. Well, and the truth of the matter too is we are not a nation at war. We are
No.
a military who has been at war.
Yeah.
So you may have the 3rd Infantry Division or the 19th Special Forces Group or whatever. That's like, yeah, we've been at war for X number of years. Okay, well that's fine. Yes, you have. But other than, your sister and your girlfriend and your mom and dad, nobody else really knows about that war. And not only that, but it doesn't really make the nightly news. We don't have the body counts. We don't have so everybody's kind of like, okay, America, just go ahead and do your little sport war thing, and you can, send your special operators to 190 something countries, or because that's probably a good use of resources, is to be in every country in the world. It's so, I mean, we're in this very, very strange place where there's no accountability, and there's really no truly desired end state or outcome. So I guess we all just kind of show up, and if we're going to fight, then we kind of fight today. And if we're not going to fight, then we don't fight. I mean, that's kind of where the policy position has been the last 4 years, I guess.
But it is kind of like that might be I mean, if you just completely detach and look at it in terms of like enthalpy or entropy or static state systems, the less people involved and the more over there it is. I mean, Vietnam and War on Terror, that was over there. This is truly over there because we're not even sending our guys. Now, I know we have,
Right.
720 bases around the world, and I get all that, but I mean,
Yeah.
specifically talking about, where are the big fights right now? It's Israel and Gaza, and it's Russia and Ukraine. We're not really, it is, never have we been more involved in a war that seems less involved. Like, it's not like, even I'm 34, but even I remember, the invasion of Iraq. Even I remember hearing on the news, four servicemen killed last night in IED, and even those you get little trickles. This is, I mean, you obviously have a background in this, but to the average person listening, myself included, could any of us give a remotely accurate update of what's going on in Ukraine?
No,
No, they're getting the next wonder
no,
weapon. We're giving them the F-15s and the drones and the what's really going on. Could I point it out on a map? Probably not.
probably not. Yeah.
And that is a level of acceptance, whether we
But,
want to admit
but
that.
give them another $100 billion. It's fine.
Yeah, what do the numbers even mean?
Because the numbers don't mean anything.
Add
Well, in
one
the
more zero,
currency,
one less zero. All
now
right.
in truth, let's unpack this a little bit more deeply, but I know that we don't have that much time, but
Yeah.
truth, the numbers don't mean anything.
No.
The 100 billion here, the 80 billion there, the 10 billion there, it doesn't matter
Oh,
because it's zeros and ones. It is literally a fiat currency that is backed by nothing and tied to nothing and only exists as the world's reserve currency because there's a lot of it in circulation. It's a pain in the butt to switch to something else. And everybody kind of still agrees that it's worth whatever it's worth and they're going to use it. But the day that that changes, it all changes. And now, in truth, there's not a single currency in the world that is actually worth anything because they're all fiat. I don't think there's a single country. I know that BRICS is talking about having theirs being gold backed. I'm not really sure if it is, but I'm not up to date on my current currency stuff. So if people are like, oh yeah, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about. Japan has a this. I don't know. I'm saying from a generalist perspective, you have a globe full of fiat currency ever since the installation, if you will, worldwide of the Federal Reserve and central banking system. And so this literally goes all the way back. It's the same problems that it's the same thing. It goes back to almost the beginning of time. It's the original ruling families. It's like, this is principalities and spiritual stuff. This is
mhm.
angels and demons. This is,
It all goes back to
people are
Alex
like, oh,
Jones.
he's fucking
Guess what?
crazy.
Nope. Spoiler
He's like,
alert. It all comes
yeah,
back. It literally comes
yeah,
back to good and evil. I'm with you.
yeah. And I'm sorry, but I will tell you very clearly, I have, I don't even know how to say this. And I never said this on camera or anything else, but I have been touched by God,
Oh yeah.
I believe, in a
I have
very
I have through
significant
this
way.
show. No, I have
Yeah,
through this show. Yeah.
yeah. And like I believe that I received direct inspiration and revelation from the Almighty.
Yeah.
I just
I'm with you.
And you know what's funny, Tommy, and if you're saying the same thing, then you're feeling it too, man. And we're having this conversation for a reason because I have these conversations now with people all the time. I
Yeah.
usually lead with Jesus. I like
Yeah.
when we meet somebody else, I'm like, hey, how's it going? God bless you. Good
Yeah.
day. Bye-bye.
Yeah.
And just to see kind of where are we. And I found that I kind of get two reactions from people when I meet them these days, when we start talking about that. And it's either one that's like, I totally get it, bro. Oh my gosh, dude. Dude, if we talk about this, people are like, oh, they're so crazy. Like, I get that. Or I get, yeah, I don't know, man. What do you, yeah,
Yeah.
conspiracies. Like, yeah, I mean, I get, oh, so you're Alex Jones guy, or okay, you're let me guess, Twin Towers, we never went to the moon, Earth is flat, all that stuff. Like, no, you're not hearing me. It's like, is it Earth flat? I don't know. I don't care. I don't think it is. I went to the Air Force Academy. I studied astrophysics and astronautical engineering and
Yeah.
all this other stuff. So I don't think it is flat, but okay, I don't care. That's not germane to the issue.
Yeah.
What is germane to the issue is, are we indeed in a spiritual war of good and evil? And if you start to
Irrefutably.
look at the world through that lens, the world
Yeah.
makes a whole lot of sense.
Oh yeah.
It's the only thing I've found to actually make the world make sense.
It's the only thing that makes it's the only thing that sort of balances the books, if you will, where you go, it's like the algebra equation. Okay, 1 + 5 = 6. You're like, yeah, it makes sense because otherwise it doesn't. But I mean, and it's when you first get into conspiracies, yeah, no, you kind of throw that stuff out. You go, that's the really far end. Yeah, it's all. But as you break it down more, you're like, man, and time again, there's like one group of people that wants to
Yeah.
pervert and harm the innocent among us, children,
Yeah.
and destroy the nuclear family and all that is loving and holy, and from farming to go forth and multiply.
Yeah. Farming. I mean,
Like
literally, like they want to destroy human access to seed, to unfertilized seed, that is,
it comes down to literally like the carbon cycle. Like it's not just that they want less people, less nuclear families. They don't want you growing food. They hate energy. They
yeah,
don't want you to have anything that keeps you warm in the winter. It truly is. But once you find out it's that,
yeah,
you go, oh, okay, I get it. You can see
yeah,
what they're gonna do next. You go, yeah,
yeah,
no, they're demons from hell. Yeah, no, I get it. And
yeah,
it's horrifying, but there's also some peace in it because if you go, oh, they're demons, that implies angels, and that
yeah,
implies good. And I'm not
yeah.
here for an accident. And you
If
go,
one side of the coin is true,
the other has to be.
it stands to reason that the other side of the coin is true as well. You know what I mean? It's
If you watch a sunset, you go, I know it's coming up tomorrow.
There's sunset, there's sunrise.
Yeah,
There is happiness, there is
yeah,
sadness,
yeah,
anger, joy.
yeah,
I mean, it's like everything in life has a yin and a yang, a hungry, a full, a pee, an empty bladder. I mean, literally,
yeah.
a start, a stop, a yes, a no. I mean, everything in life, the way that the world works is just like that.
Yeah, and I know you got a hard stop, so we'll wrap
Yeah.
it up. But dude, I'd love to do it again sometime, and we should go for longer and just really go down the rabbit hole. But no, I'm with you, man. It's
Yeah, Tommy, I'm if you want to have like next time we have like the conversation, bro.
no,
We
well,
just like just kind of
there.
let it all. We're like, oh, like if you want to do like a little Joe Rogan experience where it's like,
Oh, we can go balls deep.
wow,
Yeah, yeah,
think
no,
about
no, dude. I've literally, I've had on Charlie Duke who walked on the moon. He's like 90. He's the
yeah,
one that got me back to God because he was like, I walked on the moon. There was nothing to do after that. And he was like,
yeah.
except I came back to God. He was better than walking on like low gravity moon is walking with Christ. And I'm like, I'll take that advice to heart. No, yeah,
That is the kind of thing that makes me say, hell yeah, we landed on the moon and went
yeah,
there. You know
yeah,
why?
because he
Because
goes, I went and now I'm depressed.
yeah, and when he also says I went, and the only thing I love or whatever is now Jesus. It's kind of like, okay,
You're like, oh, you went up and did see the cosmos.
this is the mark of an honest man,
Yeah.
then,
I
not
went up
somebody
and
who
yeah,
is, just
yeah,
trying to
yeah.
sell you a bill of
That's
goods.
someone that went up and it was like saw the entire world beneath its thumb and saw all of the cosmos and he was like, "Oh, God's glory is unfathomable." To me, I'm like, "Yeah, that's what you should have if you went to them. If you came back and you were like, "Yeah, it's dusty."
It was pretty cool, man.
I'd be
Yeah, it
like,
was like,
"Fuck out of
hey, I
here."
got some moon rocks.
Yeah. No,
My
he
bag was kind of heavy, but it was
yeah.
only like 1/6 as heavy.
No, no, he came back and he was like, "The glory of God is irrefutable." I'm like, "That guy went."
Exactly. Dude,
Exactly.
literally that statement, and I didn't even hear it from him. I heard it from you. But just that statement, I'm like, we went to the
We
moon.
went. Yeah, I'm like, we
Yeah.
went. Yeah,
It's
it's
like,
yeah.
I don't
He's
need to
just
hear everybody else's
yeah,
bullshit. I'm like,
yeah.
okay.
I asked him once about he came on for episode 1,000, and I was like, are demons real? He's like, or are aliens real? He's like, they are, but they're not. They're demons. They're here to distract you with technological goodies to pull you away from Christ's light. And I'm like, this guy went. This guy went to the moon. Yeah.
It's
But yeah,
100%. Yeah.
dude, let's wrap this up.
Yeah,
I'll
man.
email to you, and let's definitely. I'd love to do another one with you, man. That was fun.
Yeah, sounds great. I'd
All right,
love it.
brother. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time, man.